Shalom. I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakak Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Today, I'm going to be in Micah 2, and starting at the top, it says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand." All right, and who's devising the iniquity? This is talking about the wicked. All right, it's talking about Esau Edom, who is the wicked of the Bible. All right, the so-called white man, the Edomites, are the wicked of the Bible. All right, and we do, repetition is the father of skill, so we'll go to that verse that tells us Edom is the wicked. Malachi 1:4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. All right, so Esau Edom, he is the he is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. The so-called white man, right? And when it says here, they shall build, but I will throw down. And it says, but we will return and build the desolate places, because they're impoverished. This is depicting when the Edomites, they were driven away into the caves, right, of the Caucasus Mountains, in the Caucasus Russian mountains. That's where they get the term Caucasian. They started calling themselves Caucasians when they were cavemen in the mountains, all right? And when you look into that word, the etymology of Caucasian, it means cave dweller, all right? But it says that we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. This is speaking about when they were impoverished. That's when they were in those Caucasus Mountains, Caucasian, living like cavemen, walking on all fours, letting their clothes disintegrate on their bodies. Their hygiene practices was non-existent. Literally, they would wear underwear and garments, clothing, until it literally just stuck to their body and disintegrated. All right, look up the research it if you don't believe me. But when they returned and built the desolate places, that was the time of the Renaissance. All right, that word Renaissance means rebirth. So there was a renaissance, a rebirth of the Edomites, having power on the planet Earth, all right? So-called white men, all right? Verse Micah 2:1, and that's the ones who devise iniquity. They work evil upon their beds. And they be waking up, laying there in bed, thinking about how they're gonna, take crafty counsel against our people, right? There's the verse in Psalm 64 and 2. And this psalmist says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who wet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not." You see, but this is talking about Esau Edom, all right? This is King David saying, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked," which the secret counsel of the wicked are those Edomites, because they take crafty counsel. They're very calculated. They plan their wickedness, right? And it's been that way since the beginning of time, all right? Esau Edom has always been, that wickedness on the earth. It was Cain as in Cain and Abel. Cain, that word Cain means weapon. And what is Esau Edom? Because he come back in the regeneration as Esau. Cain and Abel were Jacob and Esau in the reincarnation. So we know that when he came back in the reincarnation, the regeneration, Cain was Esau. And the word Cain, it means weapon. He slayed his brother Abel, and when you fast forward, you know, he wanted to slay his brother Jacob. Esau wanted to kill Jacob. They were twins. Through the Spirit, we know that that's Cain was regenerated as Esau Edom. All right. And he says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows. And we fast forward to today's time, and those arrows that they want to shoot are going to be those nuclear missiles. All right. It's a metaphor and a parable for a missile, the word arrow. All right. And even in military terms, a broken arrow is referred to as a missile, nuclear missile not accounted for, a lost missile or a stolen missile. They have a term called broken arrow. Okay, I believe there's a movie called Broken Arrow, and it goes into that. Okay, I've never seen the movie, but we go for a little further. Psalm 83, further showing you who this is talking about. It says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Right? Because Esau Edom, that's why they have those meetings, those summit meetings, you know, the G7 summit meetings. You have secret councils where they, you know, like the Bohemian Grove, where they meet and do all kind of filthy, wicked acts, which is in California. When you look up that place, the Bohemian Grove. And those are the places where they have those meetings, and they take their crafty counsel against the people, which the people are the Israelites. Thy people, it says right here. So it's telling you it's the Israelites. And they consult against thy hidden ones. All right, well, we were once considered the hidden ones, but because of the remnant, because of the prophets, we're not hidden. We're declaring who we are through the Holy Spirit. We're the Israelites. All right, but the hidden ones is who we were, because we were not considering who we were until the Spirit revealed to us that we are indeed the Israelites of the Scriptures, of the Holy Bible. All right. Let me see. Anyway, I'll go back to Micah chapter 2, and I'm at verse 2. They covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man and his heritage. And so that's exactly what the so-called white man done, all those things, right? Did he not covet fields and take them by violence? Didn't he not do that to Gad? Did he not, let's see, they oppress the man in his house? It's still happening, right? We're still under oppression from this wicked man of iniquity, which is the so-called white man. And iniquity, it's dealing with perpetual sin on top, ongoing sin on top of sin. And technically, you know, Esau, the laws weren't given to him, so he really, you know, the laws are not applied to him. But wickedness is still wickedness. Sin is still sin. All right. So he's by nature, he's just a walking abomination. And any of you Israelites that follow in his footsteps, you become that same walking abomination that the Esau Edom, the so-called white man, leads you to err. All right. It says here, they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, so much to the point where he take away the heritage of the Israelites, and he actually steals the theft of the he's the biggest case of identity theft, right? Because Yahweh Bashem Yahshai told Jeremiah that he would lose his heritage. It says Jeremiah 17:4, and thou even thyself, because Jeremiah was an Israelite. Thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger which shall burn forever. So Yahweh allowed the Israelites to lose our heritage as a punishment, right? That's why it says we're known as bywords, right? What was it Deuteronomy 28 and is 37 maybe? And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, whether Yahweh shall lead thee. So you see that we lost our heritage and we become bywords. That's why you call yourselves Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Dominicans, Guatemalans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, North American Indians, Seminole Indians, Argentinians, Brazilians, Chileans, Colombians, Uruguayans, Mexicans. Those are all bywords. And this is, I showed you the verse, Jeremiah 17:4, that we would discontinue from our heritage as a punishment. All right? And then in, Isaiah 1:3, it says, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. All right, the dumb ox, the stubborn ass, two animals that are dumb and stubborn, they know their master's crib, they know their owner, but Israel does not consider, meaning they don't consider who they are. They don't. The so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, they don't consider that they're the Israelites. Why? It's because of the prophecies have been fulfilled. Our heritage was, taken away from us, and Esau Edom, he doesn't claim to be all the tribes, but he calls himself the Jew, right? The so-called white man. You got so-called white people calling themselves Jews in Israel right now, and they call themselves Israelis. You ever wonder why they don't call themselves Israelites, but they call themselves Israelis? It's because those are not the true people. The word Jew, it goes back to Judah. It's short for Judah, right? That's why they say Jewish, because they're Jewish, they're not the real Jews. Jewish, if I say you're childish, it means doesn't mean you're a child, it means you're acting like a child. So when I say Jewish, it doesn't mean they're the Jews, it means they're acting like they're the Jews, all right? We go to Micah, back to Micah 2:3. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, and I wanted to touch on verse 2 where it said, they take them by violence, right? They take the fields by violence. Did not the so-called white man, the wicked of the Bible, do that? Let's get Deuteronomy again, because I don't want to be forgetting things, when I'm condemning this so-called white man, the wicked of the Bible, right? I don't want to be leaving things out. Deuteronomy 28:31, it says, thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be taken away violently taken away from before thy face. So this happened to the so-called Native Americans. So-called white men came over, and they call them explorers, but they were conquistadors. They call Christopher Columbus. He was a so-called explorer, but in reality, he was a conqueror. All right. Hernan Cortez, who represented Spain, which Spaniards are Edomites. You got a lot of our people that take pride in being Spaniards, and they'd be ashamed to be called a so-called Mexican, but they love to be called Spaniards because I've seen it with my people who are the and really they're the Gadites. They're the North American Indians, so-called North American Indians, but they get offended if you call them Mexican. They'll be like quick to correct you. I ain't no Mexican. My family we're Spanish. We're from Spain. When they're stupid because they're telling you they're an Edomite instead of they're telling you that they're the children of Yahweh. So Yahweh put all kinds of delusion and just plain stupidity on our people. All right. So, but that's what it is, But this happened to our people, the Native Americans, so-called Native Americans. Our donkeys were taken away violently. The ox was slain before our eyes. We couldn't do nothing about it, right? Like it says here, thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. All right, you couldn't do nothing about it when those Edomites showed up on the shores of America with their cannons and their musket guns and their you were fighting with arrows and knives. Well, they had cannons and different type of guns that they were slaying our people with. All right. And just to make a quick note, the so-called white man, because of his filthiness, he actually killed more what you call Native Americans by disease than he did by the gun. All right, you can see when he came over here, he brought all kind of different diseases, plagues, that our people were not accustomed to. Their immune systems weren't ready for all that. So the majority of the people that the so-called Native Americans that died in the Americas died from the pestilence, from the disease, compared to the gun. All right, that's just a fact. All right, Micah 2:3. Therefore thus saith Yahweh, behold, against the family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. In that day one shall take up a parable against you, and lament with a doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. He hath changed the portion of my people. How hath he removed it from me? Turning away he divided our fields. And really, this is talking about you so-called white people. You're the ones who have done all this to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And who's taking up a parable against you? It's the prophets, because these are parables. These things are parables, and we're understanding and breaking down the parables and exposing the so-called white man for who he is. He's that wicked of the Bible who did all these malicious acts to our people, and to this day he's still doing it. And I want to touch on that verse where it says, in that day shall one take up a parable against you. And we'll go to Isaiah 62:6 for this one, okay? All right, it's going to be Isaiah 62:6. It says, I have set up watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day or night, that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silence, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. So those are those men who are taking up a parable against you, right? We're coming up against the powers that be, and we're speaking truth and knowledge according to the Holy Scriptures. And it's the Lord who put a spirit on us to do this, right? We put our lives in jeopardy. We put our freedoms in jeopardy. But it's because of the spirit the Lord Yahweh put upon us, all right? We're calling you out. We're We're letting everybody know who the wicked is. You know, we're showing our people, according to the Holy Bible, who that violent man is, right? Got one more precept that I want to bring out. And this one's also in Isaiah. It's 14:4. So we got a 144 verse. Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It says, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, this is the white man, the so-called white man, because he goes and pushes his democracy throughout the planet Earth. He goes and pushes his policies and his agendas throughout the whole planet Earth, right? That's how he smites the people, continual stroke. It says, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. All right, and so this is what it is. Remember, it said they shall not hold their peace, right? Until Jerusalem is the praise of the earth. So now the so-called white man, his elite understand this prophecy. He knows that the prophets are on the streets. He knows the prophets are exposing him for who he is, and he can't do nothing about it. And like we read earlier, we're going to expose him until Jerusalem is the praise of the earth, meaning you got the prophets out on the streets and they ain't going nowhere until Yahweh Bashem Yahushai returns and visits the earth. You know, there was a time when our people didn't know who they were, right? The hidden ones. They didn't know the truth of the Bible, right? A lot of our men who are prophesying on the streets now, we were in Christianity, we were in Catholicism, we were in Jehovah's Wickedness, we were Muslims, you know, but we came out of all that madness and we understand this truth in this Bible now, in the prophecy. And the Lord put the Spirit on us to do this work, okay? So it's going to happen until Jerusalem is the praise on the earth, meaning until Yahweh Bashem Yahushai comes back and sets things in order, all right? This is that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, all right? So that's what we're doing. We're speaking against the nations, right? Against the kingdoms, just like the prophets before us. Let me get that real quick. This is in Jeremiah 28 and verse 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. See that? So we've coming out here. That's what we're doing. Just like prophets of ancient before us, they prophesied against nations and countries and kingdoms. Same thing, the prophets, the spirit of the prophets is subject unto the prophets. So guess what? We're on the scene doing the same thing we did in the past. We're coming up against countries, prophesying against kingdoms, prophesying against nations, because there's nothing new under the sun. And the prophets is a subject, the spirit of the prophets is subject unto the prophets, right? Let's get that real quick in 1 Corinthians 14 and 32. It says, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So what this means is, when we were prophesying in the ancient world, because we were reincarnated, regenerated, which that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother lesson, but our spirits have always been on us to prophesy. We always find our lot. If you're a prophet now, you were a prophet in the ancient. If you're a false prophet now, you were a false prophet in the ancient. All right, so it says the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. All right, so just like in the ancient world, in the ancient time, Jeremiah 28:28, what we just read, or 28:8, prophets are speaking against countries, nations, and great kingdoms. So what is America? Is considered a great kingdom. We're doing the same thing here. Are we prophesying for Babylon, America? Or are we prophesying against it? Yeah, exactly. We're prophesying against this wicked place. And who is the leader of this place? The ruler of this place is that wicked so-called white man who is the Edomite. That's his biblical name. All right? Going back to Micah, Micah 2 and verse 5. It says, therefore thou shalt have none that shall cast a cord by lot in the congregation of Yahweh. Prophesy ye not, say they to them that prophesy. They shall not prophesy to them, that they shall not take shame. You see? So these people, they're like, don't prophesy. Don't tell us America is going to be destroyed. Don't tell us the so-called white man is the wicked one of the Bible. Hell, my neighbor Madison and Piper, they're wonderful people. They're friends of mine. Don't prophesy against them. You see, that's how our people they have that take on that attitude that they think they don't know they have enemies according to the Bible. They think Madison and Piper cares about them. They think that's their homies, right? They think that they're good people, which the Bible tells you that these Edomites, they're not good people, man. You can't trust these Edomites, and if you do, you're gonna find out the hard way. All right. Psalm 58:3, it says, the wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. You see that? So they're always lying. It's in their nature. All right. Did not Cain lie when Yahweh asked him where Abel was? He said, "Hey, am I my brother's keeper?" He didn't tell the truth. So all these Edomites have the same characteristics. All right, they be lying, and then our people take on the spirit of these Edomites, because they've been brought up in these captivities, and now here we are in Babylon. And they take on the spirit, the mindset, the customs, the traditions, of the so-called white man, of the Edomite, doing the same shit, same wicked shit that the Edomite does. That's exactly why you have all these people having sex change. They call them transgenders. And it's not just the so-called white man doing it; it's all the nations, and even Jake is doing it. Because why? Because they follow the Edomite. They take on his spirit. All right. Micah 2:7, it says, O thou that art named the house of Jacob, is the spirit of Yahweh straitened? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him that walketh uprightly? Even of late my people is risen up as an enemy. Ye pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by securely, as men averse from war. Yeah, even our people, even the 2/3 come up against us, come up against the prophets. It's not just Esau, Edom. And why is that? Because they've been indoctrinated to believe lies, and so they have strong delusion. Our people have strong delusion on their mind because they've been brought up, raised up in captivity. All right, you're not brought up in the truth. Like I have daughters. I have 4 daughters, and only one has been brought up in the truth because the others are older. But my youngest, this truth came to me, 2016, maybe 17, and so my youngest daughter is the one who's been brought up in this truth. My older daughters, they were not brought up in this truth. You see, so I can see the difference in their upbringing. And, she's still in captivity, but she's more woke and more aware. And I can see the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai on her compared to my older daughters, okay? So let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2:11, it says, I'm sorry, Salakia. All right. In 2 Thessalonians 2:11, it says, well, I'll start at 10. And with all deceivableness and of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So our people have been deceived so bad that when the truth comes out, they don't receive it. They want to hang on to the lies that have been embedded in their head, embedded in their minds, polluted in their minds. And because they receive not the love of the truth, they could be saved, but they don't receive the love of the truth, right? So because of that, verse 11, and for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. So our people believe lies because those lies and those captivity has basically seared their conscience like an iron, it tells you. Let's get that. We'll go to 1 Timothy 4:2. It says, well, let me start at 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. All right? So our people's conscience are seared with a hot iron. If you take a hot iron and you take 2 pieces of clothing and you just put that hot iron on, they become one, right? They're going to melt as one. And that's what the Lord compares the mind of our people with the lies and captivity they've been taught. It's like an iron being a hot iron searing their conscience, right? So that's where that's where their belief system, that's where their values lie, is with the wicked, because of where they've been brought up. They can't come out of that thing because they're seared like a hot iron. But the elect, the remnant, hey, that's a different story. The Lord gave us a spirit to leave this place behind, both physically and mentally and spiritually. All right, we leave it behind because he puts a spirit on the elect to have a spirit of discernment, a spirit of understanding, a spirit of, okay, that makes sense. And it's easy for the elect and the remnant, once taught, it's easy for us to just say, you know what, fuck this place. And we can see the lies, all right? But the 2/3, they can't see the lies. They're like, they're blinded by the light, right? Or they're blinded by something. They're blinded by the wickedness, by the lies that they've been taught. They can't come out of it. It's like a disease. It is a disease. That's why Yahweh calls them sick, And when you learn, if you're of the elect, you start learning this truth, then you look around at these 2/3 and you see that fucking conscience seared on them, where you're like, there's no hope for these motherfuckers. Excuse my French, but there really ain't no hope for these motherfuckers. Because why? Because their fucking brain is seared like a hot iron, seared their conscience, Just like we read. So let's go back to Micah. I'm almost finished with this lesson. So Micah 2:9, it says, the women of my people have cast out from their pleasant houses. The women of my people have ye cast out from their pleasant houses. From their sons have ye taken away my glory forever. All right, you see that? So our women, our sons, the majority of our people, the 2/3 is the majority of a group of people. You'd have 2/3 as opposed to 1/3. That's the majority, is the 2/3. So our women, our sons, Basically, they've taken away the man of iniquity has taught them wrong, and he's got a hold of 2/3 of our people who they're not glorifying Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Instead, they're either atheists or they're glorifying, if they are spiritual or religious, they're glorifying some false idol. And the biggest chief enemy would be that stumbling block, which you call Jesus Christ, which that ain't no true Messiah, all right? The elect have an eye and a spirit to understand and see this. The 2/3, that's their God for life. They're gonna take that to the grave, all right? They're gonna take that false idol to the grave, and it's because the Lord sent them strong delusion, like we read earlier, all right? Verse 10. This says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction." And we go to this verse a lot, because we tell our people America is not our rest. Why are our people getting shot in the streets? Why are our people getting deported back to so-called Mexico, right? Why are our people called illegal aliens? Why are our people going through hell here? Why do the police patrol our neighborhoods 24/7? And it's because this ain't our rest, man. And because this place is polluted. Even everything's polluted about this place. You can go, the food is polluted, the air is polluted, the women are polluted, the men are polluted, and that pollution goes into the, believing all the false doctrines, the philosophies, the false idols. That makes you polluted, man. If you're sitting here lifting up and exalting a so-called white Jesus, you are fucking polluted, man. The scriptures clearly describe the Messiah as a dark-skinned, what you would call a so-called black man, and his name is Yahweh Shai. It ain't no damn Jesus, all right? But like I said, it's seared in our people's conscience. They love that fucking Cesare Borgia. They ain't letting go of that motherfucker. They love his ass. They'll die for his ass, all right? So that's why this place is polluted, and this ain't our rest, okay? So you want to sit here and build an empire, you want to even build a family here in Babylon, you don't get no rest, man, because the women have given so much liberty. If she decides to leave you for someone else, even if she could even leave you for a woman, that's how polluted this place is, So this ain't our rest. I talk to Israelites on the daily, and their just spirits are just broken. And my advice to them is like, look, this is temporary. Don't stress this place like you are, because this is not our rest. This place is fucking polluted. We're only going to be dealing with this for a short while. This is temporary until Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai visit the earth. Until Yahweh Shai cracks those clouds with the chariots and the angels. This ain't our rest. You see? You could have a good paying career, a good paying job, whatever you want to call it. You could have money in the bank. And before you know it, your money's gone. Because you're being oppressed. All right? You got to always, it tells you in Haggai that well, let's get it real quick. Let's start at Haggai 1:6. It says, "Ye have sown much, but ye bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes." See that? So this ain't our rest, man. You have money, but when you put money in a bag with holes in it, means that money's gone, right? Let's get another one in Baruch. These are because we're in slavery and captivity. If you're paying the oppressor, if you're paying your enemy to survive, that means you're in captivity. All right? Was it back? Is it Baruch 3:6? No. Is it 36? I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Three and 8. All right, it says, this is Baruch 3 and 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from Yahweh our power. You see? So we're being punished because of our fathers, and when you get technical, because of reincarnation, we are our fathers. But we're being punished for what we did in the past, all right? We're under the curses. That's why you're subject to payments. You got to pay your enemy to survive here in Babylon, all right? All the atrocities, all the maliciousness, all the bad, evil, wicked things that happens to our people, it's because of our sins and our iniquity of our fathers, which, like you say, if you want to get technical, we did it to ourselves, see? Let's go back to Micah. We're getting ready to close it out, all right? Micah 2 and 11. It says, if a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and of strong drink, he shall even be a prophet of this people. See? And strong drink is a metaphor for these philosophies, all right? Because we always tell you wine is a metaphor for doctrines, okay? So Christianity would be considered a strong drink, all right? Catholicism, a strong drink. You even got some of our people in fucking Mormonism, shit like that. That's a strong drink right there. That's straight up so-called white man religion, and all of it is. You know, all the churches, doctrines, philosophies set up in America are strong drink. But if you have a person who's prophesying in any of those denominations, hey, he's a lying prophet, all right? He's not telling you the truth because he doesn't know the truth, because the Lord Yahweh has not given him the truth. He hasn't given any of those false prophets who are in any of those false denominations. The Lord Yahweh has not given him the understanding of this Bible. He showeth his word unto Jacob, all right? He showeth his word unto his servants, the prophets, all right? I'm not going to pull those scriptures. Brothers should know those verses, where to find them, and also should know who he shows his word to. It's to the Israelites, to Jacob, all right? So, this is verse 12. It says, I will surely assemble, O Jacob, see? All of thee, I will surely gather the remnant of Israel. I will put them together as the sheep of Bozrah, as their flock in the midst of their fold, and they shall make great noise by reason of the multitude of men. All right? And the sheep of Bozrah, that's who we are right now. We're the sheep inside Bozrah, because Bozrah is in the ancient world, it was a chief city in Edom. It might have even been the capital, if I'm not mistaken. It was the capital of the nation of Edom, which is, again, the Edomites are the so-called white people. But in the ancient, they had that chief city, Bozrah, which America is spiritually Edom and Bozrah, all right? And so Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai says, I'm going to assemble Jacob in the midst of Bozrah, which is America, and they shall make great noise by reason of the multitude of men. Remember I read, they shall not hold their peace, all right? We're lifting up the trumpet. We're lifting up the voice, right? Our voice is a trumpet. So that's what he's doing. Yahweh's assembled Jacob together, and it's inside Bozrah. It's all over the planet Earth, but the largest gathering of the prophets takes place here in Babylon, all right? And it says, they shall make great noise by reason of the multitude of men, all right? And me right here on this video, on this YouTube channel, whether I'm at camp, on the streets, hey, we're making up that great noise. We're taking up a proverb against the king of Babylon. You know, we're not holding our peace. until Jerusalem is a praise on the earth. You see? So let's read this last verse and I'll close it out. The breaker is come up before them, and they have broken up and have passed through the gate and are gone out by it, and their king shall pass before them, and the Lord on the head of them, and Yahweh on the head of them, right? So this is it, man. We're breaking up this place spiritually, and then Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai eventually is going to break up this place physically, all right, with war, with demolition style, right? Because he's going to put the spirit on these Edomites to shoot missiles at each other, and not just the Edomites, the other heathen nations that have nuclear power. They're all going to shoot missiles at the whore, which is Babylon the Great, right? You read about that in Revelation. The whore shall be burned with fire, right? It says they shall hate the whore, and these shall burn her with fire. So right now, it's spiritually we're giving them straights, rights, lefts, uppercuts, body shots, spiritually, right, with our words. But eventually, it's going to be the physical side of it, which is going to be the missiles from the heathen nations, and then eventually, right when the missiles come, that's when Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai is going to crack the clouds, and then you're going to have chariot fire. You're going to have so many things just destroying this place that it's going to get annihilated in 1 hour, it tells you in the Bible. But right now, we're doing it with our words. We're doing it with, well, I shouldn't even say our words. We're doing it with the words of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out on that. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rekakwadash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to recognize all the Akim who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom and salutations. Keep enduring, brothers. You know, it's getting closer. Shalom to the elect.